Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm on my 4th week after my Achilles rupture. I have chosen to go non-surgical because my doctor told me that my outcome would be relatively the same either way. If you haven't seen my first video when I first injured myself, you can go back and check that out and start from there if you're just starting your process of recovery from an Achilles rupture. So the reason I was going to do weekly uploads about this, but to be honest, the first 3 weeks, or first 4 weeks I guess, were just, nothing happened. I was just sitting around in my cast or my splint and playing video games and really not doing anything at all because everything was extremely difficult to do. I was a little depressed about it, honestly. It's August, and that's my favorite month. It's the hottest it is in New York, and that's the best time to go cliff jumping, swimming in rivers, all my favorite activities. So I've been a little down about that, and I'll tell you, the progress is slow, and you don't kind of expect how slow it really is. So, and I don't think that matters whether or not you have surgery or not. I've seen people who have had surgery that are pretty much at the same place I am right now in terms of physical therapy and use of the foot. So yeah, anyway, just there wasn't really much to update you guys on. But now that other than the fact that I went to the surgeon, they took my splint off, did a little test on my ankle, said that the tendon had reattached itself, and just, slightly. It's not like I was in there like, yeah, here we go, I'm gonna move my foot, but they could tell it was healing. Took the splint off, put my boot on, this big old chunky boot, and I was really looking forward to that because to me it was a milestone. A little bit more freedom. I could take this boot off and sit in a shower or a tub and just kind of be free for a minute. The boot at first, it doesn't give you the support that a splint or a cast does, so I felt very vulnerable in it. And when I was using I have a little knee scooter so that I can continue to cook and stuff in the kitchen, and when I would put my leg on that in the boot, the tendon kind of felt stressed and it hurt. It would warm up a little bit and be okay, but I don't know if you have a scooter and a boot, you might be going through the same thing. It was fine. I didn't get hurt from it. So, and now after I've been in the boot for I think a week and a half, and that pain doesn't really doesn't happen anymore. I mean, if I'm sitting down a while, it can get tight, but it's all good. Let's think. There's not really too many cons of being in the boot. Everything is kind of just a plus. The only con is really the lack of protection and having to feel like I need to pay a little bit more attention to it, because I have had 2 unfortunate slips, and one of them was a little bit careless and totally preventable and my fault, and the other one was just kind of a freak accident. I was in the splint for one and I was in the boot for the other one. The first one, I was in the splint, and there was like this piece of paper towel on the ground that my dog had gotten off the table and ripped up, and it was on the ground. My crutch hit it, and the crutch slipped out from under me, and I went falling forward, touched my foot to the ground, put a little weight on it, and as I put the weight on it, I kind of felt a little pain, and then I immediately lifted off of it, but that caused me to fall into my closet, and I went through the door. But it didn't set me back. Nothing really hurt. I was fine. it was just kind of stupid. Now, fast forward to a week later, I'm in my boot, and it's probably 2 in the morning, and I'm going to the bathroom. I crawled over to my scooter. I picked myself up. I put my knee down on the scooter, or so I thought, but I was a little groggy, and I miss. I trip. My full weight goes onto the boot, and I hear it go, and I felt the pop in my leg, and I was like, "Yep, that's it. It hurt. It hurt pretty good." I thought I was in big trouble. I rolled around on the floor for a minute, just kind of like holding it, like it. I wouldn't say that pain. That it wasn't the pain that was making me lay on the floor. It was just kind of like a little bit of depression setting in. Like, oh no, I just set myself back 2.5 to 3 weeks, which is just would be devastating at this point. But I messaged my surgeon, and he said, as long as you can push your foot down even a little bit, then the tendon is not fully ruptured, and you're good to just continue doing what you're doing. So I took it out of the boot. I messed around with it, and I had a little bit of tension I could push down on my foot. Not much. It's just slightly. So turns out that's probably fine. That was probably 4 days ago now, and I have pretty good motion, very, very little pain or anything. So I think that I dodged a bullet on that one pretty well. So we'll see. Keep you updated on that. I'd say the hardest part now at 4 weeks, and if you're going through this, I'm sure that you're probably feeling it too, is just the mental drain of this, and just sitting here all day, every day. Everything is a hassle. Everything's a hassle. And if you have crutches, you can't use your hands. And if you have the scooter, you're constantly running into stuff and shimmying and trying to maneuver tight spaces. So everything has its downside. Overall, the fact that I can move my foot a little has got my mental state in a little bit better place. I recently found something super cool that I wish I had found at the beginning. Now I feel like I don't necessarily want to spend $300 or $400 on this, but it's called the Freedom Leg. And if you just ruptured your Achilles and you're on crutches or in your little scooter or whatever you're doing, and it's early on, I would suggest looking into the Freedom Leg. It like attaches to your thigh and above, like below your knee, and it takes all the weight off your leg, your foot. But so your foot is like hovering over the ground, and you have a peg, kind of, not a peg, like a bar to walk on. So it kind of transfers all the force of your foot up to like your thigh. And I see people walking around in it and just doing stuff, and that would have been really sweet. But now I'm only like 4 weeks away from being seriously weight bearing. I don't know if I really want to spend $400 on that. I think I'll just strap in and accept where I'm at now. But if you just started this process, I would definitely take a look into it, because I would buy that. I think something that's kind of kept me going, and I believe really helps, is the supplementation, the collagen, the vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, copper, iron. Trying to focus on my health overall has given me, like, I look forward to taking my supplements twice a day now, and it's like a checkpoint during the day. It gives me something to be like, okay, there we go, healing process is continuing. You could call it placebo effect, I don't know. I think it helps, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups, and that's keeping me somewhat physically fit. Not anything compared to what I was doing before. I noticed a lot of atrophy in my calf and my quad, and that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know, it's something we're all going to deal with. Not a big deal. The muscle will come back as long as the tendon heals and you can go back to the way that you were working out before. And you know, I kind of felt at this point it's just kind of hit me how long I'm going to be doing this for. It's really wild. So I don't think I'll be doing weekly updates unless something happens that really would help you on your journey. A question comes up that I feel warrants a video to try to help you guys through your healing process, or something that, you know, there's been so many times where I'm like, oh my God, can I do this, or should I do this? Is this bad? You know, I'll bring those up. I want to show you guys where I'm at in terms of being able to move my foot, and you can kind of judge that to where you are in your process. I know I've done that with other people's videos, and it just kind of will set your mind at ease that, you know, you take a large sample size of people, and if you're kind of in the middle or around there, then you're like, okay, I'm pretty good, and we're gonna keep this party moving along, and my tendon's gonna heal just fine. And I know I feel like it's more for the non-operative people, because it's in your mind that you're like, is this healing? It's not the same as if you had surgery where you know they stitched it back together. So I feel like there's a little bit more guarantee there. I don't know if that's true, but it certainly feels that way. Everything's very delicate. I try to be as careful as possible, and now that I've taken the boot off, I can't reach the camera. It's these little struggles that make us stronger. And that was Shannon. I don't know if you could hear that little scream out there, but that was Shannon in the garden. She must have encountered a bug that scared her. All right, let's see what we can do here. So my PT has me like scrunching my toes and kind of gently moving my foot. I've been putting rocks on the ground and in a pile and moving like 10 rocks from side to side over and over to work on, you know, sideways movement and just like the slightest bit of up and down. When I go up with my foot at this point, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good, and I don't want to do it. So I'm not doing that, and I'm not really supposed to. So just trying to keep the foot kind of activated. But here we go. I hope this comes out well. You're not going to see a whole lot of movement, but you know, I can pretty well flex my toes up and down. I can move side to side, and that's up and down there. So, you know, for being 4 weeks non-op, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. You can see that there's just a abundance of swelling here. I can just push my finger in and it leaves a dent. Yeah, so, you know, I don't know where you're at on your journey watching this, but this is me at 4 weeks. And if you have any questions or comments for me, you know, post them below and I will respond. Let me know about how your journey is going. I love to read other people's stories. It helps me through my turmoil here, and I have nothing but time to read those and watch your videos and all that. So that's about it for the 4-week update. I hope if you're going through this, I hope your healing is going perfectly and that you make a full recovery, and I'll see you guys on the next one.